President Gabriel, Secretary DeValle, Treasurer Crooker, Dr. Leacher, and Dr. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consent agenda. Consent agenda.
It's the agenda and the minutes.
Oh, okay, the agenda, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Sasha, something else up there.
I'll second. Motion been made and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approval of minutes. So motion to approve minutes. Last meeting.
When you approve those consent items, you approve both of them at the same time. So our lawyer has us go into the structure so it moves more freely through there.
I like that. You just
put it all in one place.
Whenever you just go.
Yes, and so if you guys come to the meeting with an issue with the minutes or something like that, then you would bring that forth and say, I got a big issue with the minutes, going move it from the consent agenda down into the regular agenda, so we can discuss it.
Or we can actually do it during the discussion of the motion.
Yes,
you
sir.
can do your, yeah. So yeah, we'll change that next month.
Yeah, they're trying to be a little bit more efficient.
I like that too. Yeah. We do that now at the school. So, motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item, public comment. Do you have anybody like to address public? It looked like it. Nobody here wanted to address the board. Kim, would you like to address them?
That's fine. It's such a fun day.
We will move on. Next financial report expenditures for year to date 2025.
I have nothing out of the ordinary for your very first meeting of the year. You have some increased costs already moving into the new year, with the repairs that are being affected with your sewer plant, specifically. And we're trying to get a summary of what those are. I've asked the gentleman with Wolf Compliance to create a separate invoice that will reflect the repairs that they're doing, separate from what their general maintenance duties are as our ORCs now. So as soon as we get that, we'll get a better idea of where we're at.
I didn't see anything out of the ordinary, but so.
All right, next. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to staff report. Austin, you're first.
Last month you showed a 56 and 57% water loss. We did, and Mike can talk about this a little later. We did find that the tank was leaking up top. Yeah. The overflow was running, but the system that is supposed to alert people that it was doing that was disconnected. Though it didn't let anybody know, so we have fixed that. We still have some meters that are not reading at all, and we have found that we're missing a few. So we have a few that haven't been reading because they don't exist. We found another one today that hasn't been read because it's full of like a foot of mud and water. So we're gonna deal with that too. So hopefully these guys have been really good about Josh, he and I have been texting a lot. They've been really good about going out as they were reading the meters, figuring out which ones are broken, which ones are missing, which ones are, looks like some of them haven't been read for a while. It looks like there was some guesstimation going on. So as we get these fixed, this number hopefully should, get fixed.
You know about how many, what number that is?
Every one of them that she had been asking for month to be fed
Yeah,
is on, or some of those are ones that they've been.
there's at least 10 of those, and then we have at least 2 or 4 more that are,
About 14, 15.
yeah, 14 or 15, yeah.
And Mike's on, so he probably could get better context for what they've been doing out there.
Oh, here's Jill.
And the water loss is all just been from the tank up there? What we're.
Sure.
No, and I think covered a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, valve or something down at the pump house that was not reading in it, so it was spinning it backwards, and so instead of
That's what I was
Yeah,
talking to.
yes.
there,
We have an issue here.
yeah, no, I know that's not the only thing, so I think
That's what I thought.
our water loss is not even close to what that number.
Yeah.
I'll
So,
let her get that.
yeah, we'll let them, be more details. I did send out 17 warning letters and 8 shut-off notices. All 8 of the shut-offs have paid, so we didn't have to shut anybody off. So that's a good thing. And most of the warning letters have paid up. But they still have, well, they had a couple days, so. But I still have a few that are coming in. But that's about all I can for you.
Excellent. Let the record reflect that Jill Duvall has joined the meeting via Zoom.
At, 5:39.
All right, thank you, Sasha. Any questions? Super, we will move into wolf compliant. Gentlemen, what do you do? Yeah.
It's like Steve.
And Steve,
Ron.
there's 3 of them.
Nice.
Can you guys hear us, Mike?
Can you shoot him a message, Sasha?
Mhm.
You did?
Yep. Oh, it's very hard to hear anything. Um,
Sasha, look at your settings on there and make sure it's set up to the L. For the microphone,
How do I find it?
go to the bottom arrow up next to audio far left.
Oh,
corner.
okay.
L, Johnson.
Yep. Yep, it's on the L. Yeah.
Not
Hi there. Sorry if I'm interrupting. I just can't hear very well, but wanted to say hello and see if you guys had any questions, and you guys could feel free to text them to us. I can't understand much. It sounds a little garbled and like it's echoing a little bit.
$4 million.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And that's minus a green sand filtration system that they're saying could possibly be needed
Okay,
if testing showed it was.
okay.
That would add another 1.5. But that was a very conservative cost estimate by Water when they put that in place. So we're hoping that that's not, it's too high, it's way high, and
Yeah.
we can actually get it in for a lot lower. So-
Right. When you say a lot of that's construction, is that of buildings and that kind of stuff to house?
It's putting up the sound barrier, it's, equipment mobilization,
Right.
everything that goes into construction of it.
And the well is only 300,000, so.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, designing it and then engineering it.
yeah.
So I just, there was a conversation I had them at one point that, some of those things could be scaled back.
Right.
It may not be necessary. And we haven't got into the weeds of what that looks like, but we know where they're proposing to put it, which is right up there next to the one now. But is that a whole new housing? Is
Right.
that, what does that look like putting it in the same housing? I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
So
Okay.
lots of things that are still unknown and possibly,
We're gonna say,
Revisable.
this is our number.
Right.
well, that's what I'm thinking too, because that's what we've done in the past,
You can play with it or not, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and you'll find, when we did that with the road, we had 5 proposals submitted in response to it, so.
Do we have the room to put that well right up near the other one? Or you have the land available, okay.
Up behind the shop where the other one's at right now, yes.
Yeah, there's plenty of room down there.
And to build the buildings or anything else we need to.
You trying to get in again, Sasha?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
Yes,
All right,
And he-
so do we have this worked out? We can hear Mike
I
or
think so.
see if he can hear us.
Mike, can you hear
Yes.
us now?
Unmute.
Yes, much better now.
Okay. I think we got it fixed.
All right, so we'll let you have the floor, kind of give us a report and see where we're at here.
Sure. So Stephen has been working hard at the waste plant, trying to get that all taken care of and back online. He did find numerous issues with numerous different pumps and things. Some of them he was able to do some diagnostics on and get them back up and running again. But besides just your lift pumps that were feeding the raw sewage into the treatment system, there was also motive pumps and waste pumps that were creating issues and weren't working, or it almost looks like they had failed at some point and there was little to no troubleshooting that happened and they were just run without those pumps online. So treatment itself, when we took over, was next to nothing. The UV channel going out of the plant that's responsible for your disinfection and removal of E. coli was so dirty and caked in solids that it needs to be pulled out and cleaned. So that's on our list of things to do ASAP. It appears that that UV system hasn't been maintained in quite some time, and without adequate UV contact, that's a big explanation on why you're seeing such high E. coli in your effluent, on top of the fact that you have so much TSS or suspended solids in your effluent that it's really affecting the effluent water quality coming out of that plant. So he has a number of pumps working again. One of the motive pumps is shorting to ground when the coils are checked. So we're having that checked to see if it could be rewound or serviced so we can get it back online. But looks like you guys at one point had a backup motive pump that never was brought back to site, and we do not know where it is, if it ended up with the vendor for the last few years and they disposed of it, or what happened to it. But the recommendation right now is we'd like to buy a new motive pump so we can get that working as soon as possible, and then have the other motive pump either rewound or maintained so we can have it as a backup if that is possible. So we're working on that quote there. We did get an initial quote for a replacement pump as well. That motive pump and then a small other pump that we need. And I believe it's one of the either wasting pumps or digester pumps. Stephen can correct me if he needs to. Also needs to be replaced, and those two pumps together on an initial first quote are around 22,000. So I believe at one point you guys were told that, it's just these lift pumps where the water is being brought from the raw water headworks up into the plant was the only problem that you guys had with your facility, and that is far from true. On top of pumps being worked on and UVs having a problem, there was also a dire lack of maintenance on the blowers, and some of them, all they needed was belts. but Stephen has gotten the majority of those running as well. And I believe a new sprocket was ordered for one of them to keep the belt from eating itself and shutting down. I believe that was the pump for the digester. But altogether, there was very little equipment down there at the wastewater facility that didn't have an issue. Stephen ended up draining one of the SBRs and found that the float for the decant arm that recently you guys had issues with was again having issues and about to fall off again. So he worked on getting that reattached correctly. And then he is filling that SBR back up, and hopefully we can get to the point where we're getting some decent treatment. We're going to need to do the same thing on the other side where we drain down the other SBR, see what's wrong with that motive pump, see what's wrong with that header that is down there. He did find some golf balls in the header on the other side, which are just the right size to not go through the jet heads. They just plug them off. So it looks like somebody's been hitting golf balls down towards that system from up top at the parking lot. We found a couple golf balls in the field as well. So those are causing issues. We'll see if there's more issues with golf balls on the other side. There was also a piece of lay flat hose that was left in the SBR that looks like it got sucked into the header as well. So on top of these pumps not working, the bar screen or initial collection of rags and sediment and things that usually happen at Headworks was not happening correctly because of a lack of maintenance or repair to the grinder and muffin monster. Those have since been pulled and taken to a shop to see what we can get as far as a quote for repair on those. The more solids and rags and other things we let through into the SBR, the more issues we're going to continue to have with those motive pumps and wasting pumps and all that. They are not all grinder pumps, so they're not meant to be fed solids. And that is really where we stand with the wastewater side of things. We can move over to water as well. I believe I heard that you guys were talking.
The water loss,
Oh, you just went on mute.
Mike, you muted yourself.
Okay, so it looks like the level sensor for your tank that is tapped into the bottom line going up into the water tank has slowly gotten some corrosion or rust nodules or something in the hole that fed water to that level sensor. It's based off of pressure. So Stephen and another gentleman pulled that off, fixed that hole, and got that level sensor working correctly again. So that was the issue we found with the tank overflowing and huge amounts of water loss just being pushed right out the top or overflow line of the tank. Stephen also did climb the tank and found that there had been a uninvited visitor at some point into the tank and all the way to the top. And that was indicated by a half-drank beer can that was left on the catwalk up there.
Lock on the
all-
door now.
Yes, there is a lock. I don't know how old that was or when that happened, but just as a report to you guys, somebody was in there. We have, go ahead.
Table. I was telling them we made the assumption when we found that door open, which is what perpetuated putting a lock on that door and the sign that's there now. We assumed the internet company that has their tower at the top of that tower left that door open when they were out there doing work, but it seems that we might have possibly been correct in that assumption. Sorry, Mike.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, that would make sense. But in the future, if we want to put up any signage or anything, tampering with a facility like that is now a federal offense. So if we can put a sign up to deter visitors as well that way if we'd like.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, the water system is a very simple, well-maintained, well working, but not well-maintained facility. We have worked with Ted or alongside Ted, and he has done an amazing job over there cleaning up that building and getting things in order. We plan on recommending some new paint and some sandblasting to some piping in there that's come in contact with chlorine and starting to rust. So we want to get that done, but it is not a huge priority at the moment since we've stopped the leaks that are causing that issue.
I'll add too that there's a bad check valve that I haven't gotten to replacing yet on the second high service pump. It leaks backward about 4 gallons a minute when the pump isn't running.
And that would be part of the water loss also?
I don't think it's part of the water loss equation because it only gets metered out of the well essentially. So it would show more water pumped out of the high service pump, but we've been using the well flow meter for totalization for all your calculations. So it shouldn't contribute to it. But when a pump does sit off for too long, there is threat of that chlorine contact tank overflowing because now that we fixed the tank overflowing, there's considerable less water demand.
And that's something we're identifying and replacing, and that back check valve?
Yeah, it's a no brand check valve, so I'll have to try to find something with similar dimensions. I'm at least going to try to take it apart first. Maybe there's a chance that the gasket or something on the flapper could be replaced.
I gotcha.
The pump mechanical seals on both of those high service pumps also need to be replaced as well. They do leak slow while the pumps are running, but those are relatively easy things to take care of. Hardest part will be trying to figure out a way to hoist the motors off of those pumps to do the seals, but
Yeah. It's been a lot. I know it's a lot, but yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you. Steven's a rock star, by the way.
Yeah.
I will add too that I did get reactor number 2 back online at the wastewater plant today. So the motive pump is running, the air is working, everything's unclogged. I got the golf balls and the lay flat and all the garbage out of the jet manifold. So at least one side is in what I can tell operating proper order.
Yeah, thanks for your hard work out there, Steve.
Excellent, excellent.
Oh, as well as the WAS pump, the waste activated sludge pump is what we additionally quoted as part of that $22,000 quote. The one that's in there has a seal failure light on, and it sounds like a coffee grinder full of rocks when it's running. So it works for now, but we do need to have a backup on hand. Hopefully, it will be rebuildable at the very least, but it's also a fairly cheap pump, so it might be totaled, as it were.
And then what is your time frame on those pumps for those that other big pump we pulled out of there? You said you priced a replacement. What is your time frame as far as getting those in?
So Denver Pumps said there's a 5-week lead time on those. We haven't heard back from Quantum yet on a quote on either a rewind or simple maintenance. We're still probably going to end up having to purchase, like Mike said, it's the spare pump. And I was wondering too, Kim mentioned that we wanted a couple more quotes on that. There's two more distributors in Colorado for those pumps, but I imagine prices are going to be very similar, but we can still reach out if you want to move forward with that.
I told him we usually get 3 quotes.
Okay, yeah, let's move forward with
Yeah.
that, yeah, and get that in the work, and get that thing going.
Okay, I'll work on getting those two more quotes.
And then I do want to jump
Any
in
other-
on the water side. This is Chris, by the way. We do have a sanitary survey coming up in February with the state. So that's pretty much, they're going to come in, they're going to look at the system, they're going to look at the records for the last three to 4 years. And they're going to see whether or not we are abiding by certain regulations, backflows, all that. They love to look at the backflow programs. So just so you guys are aware that that is coming up.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The heads up.
A little different having 3 of them on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Hit
what a
different section.
Uh-huh.
Pretty thorough.
One
What amazing-
thing I would add, if you guys have one more moment, as far as the no reads go, when Josh was out there doing the reads, he did tell us that to get some of these reads, he actually had to dig up some of the meter pits. So I don't know how reads were getting to you in the past, but it appears that some of them were not correct. And then also we are requesting some handheld probes for running the wastewater facility. There's a DO, a MLSS, and a ORP probe, and those will help us get the system dialed in to where it's producing good quality effluent. And then once we have the UV online and cleaned up and possibly some bulbs replaced, we should be back to compliance as far as treatment of the wastewater stream goes.
Well, reactor
Yeah.
number 1 still is going to be down for a while till we get the
Oh,
motive pump, and
I'm sorry, yes, the motive pump.
probably need a large vac truck too with the hydraulic crane arm to reach in there, because that's where all the trash has been going without the proper screening in place in the headworks.
We used elite cranes last time, so I'm gonna be creating that list for you. It won't be tomorrow, but it'll probably be on Thursday of all of our known vendors and the contact information for them as you requested. So I'll get them on that list for you guys. I would like to add to what they have given you that, we've had a few instances where we've had breaks. I will tell you, one of the things I appreciate since they've been here is historically when we have a water break somewhere, Paul has shut down the water to either half the town, a quarter of the town, or the whole stinking town when he's affecting those repairs. Each one of these repairs that they've done, they've been able to isolate to the address that it's happening at and shut off the water just to that address instead of the entire town. In doing that, they did the repairs on one of them that once we got started doing it, it was actually should have been on the client's part. The client asked if they could go ahead and do it since they were there, and they did. Moving forward, that will not happen again. Because once Wolf does those repairs for a citizen, then the liability of a warranty now is on us or on them.
Mhm.
And so that won't be happening moving forward. If it's identified, that it's a residence on their side and it's their responsibility, Sasha has created a bright yellow notification that goes on their door that their water has been shut off because a leak has been found, to be on their side. They need to contact a plumber to get that repaired, and the water was shut off to avoid any water loss as a
So-
result.
So we had one this last week.
Next to Echo.
Yep, and so I put a tag on their door and it says
actually Ted was able to shut it off. He went and shut it off because he called. He's like, the water's like, you could take a canoe.
Well, and it's going down the sidewalk and freezing.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah,
So,
I see.
yeah, and so the tag I put was, the date it was shut off, and then it says, it has an X for you have to fix, or we have to fix, basically. And so then I talked to the homeowner, and, so, I don't know if you've seen, there was a huge pile of dirt, because they were trenching at her
In the
house.
driveway.
Yes, to fix her, so she had called a plumber, and, so
You
yes,
put a note says you have to fix or we fix,
correct.
but you're saying you're letting them know where it's on them, or they have the option to have us fix it.
No.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
no, what it basically says is, if the leak is on their side, I'm letting them know that it's
On their side.
on their side, on their responsibility.
And they need to contact
Right,
somebody on their
and if
side.
it's on our side, then I'll let them know it's on
Our side, and we'll let.
our
them know.
side, right? So,
Can you give anybody suggestions on people to call to do this?
No,
Okay, that's
no, because that would be
legal
showing
liability.
preference to
Yeah.
somebody.
right, so
you know,
I just
so.
say, call
Sure.
your plumber.
Mhm.
Call plumber, so,
Michael, I would think those probes that you were requesting, I think, yeah, absolutely.
We've been
we
moving
get
through
those.
here and getting
Yeah,
different things as needed.
yeah,
I don't know how some of that was getting done,
It wasn't.
which leads
Okay.
us to believe it possibly wasn't getting done.
yeah.
So as we're moving through this, the guys have given direction, you know, and guidance as to things that we need to have on hand here to help us stay in compliance and keep that testing up. And they've been working with Teddy very closely, as you know,
Yeah.
to train him
Yeah.
up on some of these areas. So it's moving really good.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate everything that your efforts you put forward here in getting this thing back in compliance and yeah. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah, I'm
everything.
happy to help, that's for sure.
Well, we need the help.
As we know.
Yeah.
Yep, so if we have nothing else, we'll move on to the next item then. Gentlemen, thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the new business. We have two reappointments. Mine is being reappointed because I took over for the past president and finished his term, so I actually turned in my paperwork to do another term.
You did. Don't laugh. You're not going anywhere. I would like to say something in regard to this though, okay?
Yes.
Because I've had a lot going on and my brain is.
Yeah.
20,000 questions. Historically, when we enter to a year that positions have termed, not termed out, because there's no terms with you guys, but they've expired, we open it up and at least put a posting in Ranchland News that two positions have, ended their terms, they're open, and it allows a period of 30 days for somebody to put an application in, so at least we get proper noticing.
Mhm.
And we have not done that in this case, so
So we do that for next
we
month?
probably should do that. Well, next month is in 2 weeks. So maybe we do it and we address it on the March
Okay,
agenda.
that's fine. I might
But
back out by then.
it would, no, no, sir. I was about to say, before you made that ridiculous remark, that, those positions would just stay in place until, you know, we have made the determination there's no more applicants to consider. And just yours and just, you know, go through that. That process as we normally do.
Sounds like, so moving on then. And we will move on to old business. Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority conceptual water plan.
This
That,
is what I got back from county today. There was a question in there. I'll just address what the county said first, because Teresa and I have been talking about it as well. There was a question in there under 4.1. What their question was is that the rewrite allows for 4 million gallons of usage, period. That's it. It doesn't stipulate. Is that annually? Is that in a lifetime? What does that mean? So I had a conversation with Monty, and Monty said feasibly, realistically, we probably would be using any more than 300,000 gallons a year, if that. And that's just driven by the need out here.
Right.
Because they're gonna be pulling it from wherever they're closest to around the county. So I went back to Paul and Colin and they confirmed for me today that the intent of that was annually. Because if they're proposing that to be a lifetime, that's a problem. But annually, if they're putting 4 million gallons in there, that will never, ever be met. And we'll just revise that language there to add that one word. But what this is, and this is something I just came into, communication within the last 45 minutes to an hour with them on. These are actually the determinations that are attached to the revisions. And every one of the determinations have language in them that aligns with the language on the permit, which is why we originally quit selling commercial bulk water. Because it's stipulated it can't leave the jurisdictional limits of Kiowa. And that may not be a problem. I don't know yet. But their attorney has identified it as a potential problem, but he's also not a water attorney. Okay, so he's flagged it as a concern for him, asking that we get further clarification on it, which I will send to the boys and gentlemen and get some sort of response back from them. If that is a problem, how do we address it? If it's not, then it's not. And we've got clarification on that. But as Teresa and I have had short conversations about, we're not really finding yet. There are some areas that it doesn't look like the language that we sent over and requested changed has been changed. Again, it's another project that I haven't had the capability of sitting down and going through with a fine tooth comb, and Teresa's graciously doing it right now. But we need to look at it a little closer because I don't feel like the requested changes have been made in this.
It didn't look like it to me.
And I've made 2 payments to them. So I'm not making another one until.
Can I add something to this
Yes,
too?
ma'am.
In my experience with the adjudications and things, that's considered a place of use. In other words, when the adjudication is done, they have a place of use, and usually it is the land that you are adjudicating at a time, which means you cannot go beyond that. I believe you can make a change. You can file an application to change the place of use if you need to.
It still has, they've noted that there's still language in there regarding the terracotta development, but that's in the determinations too.
Well, that's
So-
okay, the determination never changed.
Right, and that's what I thought too.
Yeah. But
But
I was
that's his
thinking,
question, not knowing anything about it.
well, another thing I was gonna suggest too, is that you possibly need to reach out to the people at the Denver Water Resources, because they're the ones that did that determination. And say, okay, what is the exact, ask them for the explanation, because they're the ones that created that determination and all that wording in it.
Okay.
Ask them exactly what that means, or what you can do, what you can't do.
Just explain to them what we're trying to do.
Yes,
And that.
And
this
see-
questions come up and.
yeah, and say in that determination, give them certain paragraphs or certain statements or whatever,
He's
sentences
highlighted, that's what all this
Yeah,
is. He's highlighted.
that
all of it.
say, can you explain what this actually means? And this is, like I said, what you're trying to do. Ask them, is this going to be acceptable
Okay,
based on this determination? Because the determination is what regulates what you do with wells and water and everything else that's been determined in that adjudication.
now Laurel, do you know if we could go back and revise those, and you're saying fill out an application to go back and revise them? What does that entail? Does that entail
Well,
legal and?
I'm not sure, I've never done it myself, but
Okay.
I've seen it where the publications are in the Ranch Land News where you file an application with the DWR,
Mhm.
and there's maybe a certain form that talks about you're changing the place of use.
Okay,
And then it goes through the application process of changing something.
okay.
And I'm not sure exactly what it all entails, but I'm sure there's a fee probably. And then,
But it's
whatever.
not
needs-
like we have to request a court hearing.
No, it's all done through the DWR
Okay,
and, or the courts. I'm not sure, I think the courts are actually ones that actually do this because it's already been adjudicated, but I've never dealt with the courts either.
okay. Well, I
I'm
think
not-
actually, I could definitely give them a call.
But you can reach out to them, like, let's say, I would suggest reaching out maybe to Chris Grimes. He's one of the people, he actually did my adjudications back in 2004. He was an adjudicator at the time, but he had raised up into the higher ranks of and he's an excellent person to deal with.
Okay.
And can walk you through it or give you the answers you need. I would suggest approaching somebody like that at the DWR, because they're the ones that created that determination.
Okay,
And all the wording in it is from that department.
okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Laurel.
Excellent, so we'll leave that for more review and further, probably be on the next agenda.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks.
Yep,
Yeah, 2 weeks.
yeah.
It's,
Next item is correspondence discussion. I want to say one thing with what they found and what they're identifying and what they, the cost is not near what I thought it was going to be so
Not yet,
far.
no.
no,
Pleasantly surprised.
I'm pleasantly surprised by that, but what Steven said there was, he's been able to fix a lot of things that
Yes.
were just not maintained.
That's
So,
a very different, level of skill.
yeah.
Yeah.
oh, way more, yeah.
He's, yeah,
sure.
I went down there and pulled that pump out of there for him and yeah, he's just
There's a lot of knowledge
very much.
in this
knowledge.
group.
Yeah, a lot of knowledge and we can see that with what we heard, just what we heard tonight.
Just the first report.
Well, they're being very proactive.
Very much
They're,
so.
they're, I mean, it's like anything when you're dealing with title or whatever, it's being able to see what's missing
Yeah.
or what the
Yeah.
problem is without somebody telling you, or all of a sudden something stops working.
Well, they actually helped us this week, the town side, because we've had to pull subcontractors back to put holes back in our sidewalks to retest them. They're still looking for the lines. And Mike came to me and said, I have a sketchy feeling that they're putting those holes in the wrong place, because I believe all of those shut-offs run right down the middle of that highway where you're proposing to put your storm drainage. So that was a huge piece of information, a useful piece of information that we should have had months ago. And now we're having to take it back to Kinley Horn and see how that affects the schematic of what's already been done. So that helped me have a conversation with them out there cutting holes in the middle of the highway. Well, it wasn't even in the middle of the highway, it's in the middle of the eastbound traffic lanes, because they hadn't moved far enough over into the middle of the highway to find them yet. So they were able to shut down and they spent 3 days out there looking just to find out that they're further out in the middle of the highway. So I was very thankful for that. And as they're moving through this, they're proactively locating our infrastructure at every juncture, wherever it's at, and they're noting it and updating it. So at some point, hopefully real soon, we're gonna have something that we haven't had in years.
Well, we already do.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they are
That's true.
super responsive.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you Josh, when he's been working on the meters and stuff, I mean, he has been working his butt off and he's making notes, like on all his papers and making notes about things that need to be fixed or need to be found.
It's good they're working with Ted too.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
It's something.
And he's loving
He likes.
learning
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Yeah,
He's
he's
just like
loving
a
learning about
sponge.
it and,
Well, and he's been a rock star too and
Yeah.
just
yeah,
his follow through and getting things done.
In response.
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
Proactive too.
yeah,
He's-
yeah, so yeah, I'm really happy with where we're
I think
at.
we've really got
Yeah.
some good team
We,
people
I think
working
so, too.
for us,
we,
helping us.
Ted's been spending a lot of time with Steve, learning how he's doing stuff, so, they were working today, cause then, like I said, they were super responsive, cause I had to call, like, our water's not working, it's off. You know, are you doing anything in town? And I was like, no, and so I texted and I said, hey, is anybody out here? And Ted's like, yeah, Steve and I are out here. I said, and they're like, well, head over, it was frozen, so they're like, all right, we're gonna go get a, go
Isn't that
get a
amazing?
blowtorch and unfreeze it. Okie dokie, thanks, and it was, it was instant,
Yeah,
so.
yep,
Wow.
we actually did have, since that last weekend, since we had that cold snap, I know of at least 3 in the mobile home park and 2 out in town
Yeah.
that lost their water because of the freeze snap.
Rose.
Yeah.
So it was great to have that immediate response
Mhm.
for them that they're not used to having.
Right.
We're just gonna,
This is
it
amazing.
gets fixed.
Yeah.
So, when there's an issue.
All right, well,
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Back up onto the wastewater conceptual water plan. In case they didn't bring up anything, I'm looking at paragraph number 7.2 about the Department of Local Affairs of Energy and Mineral Impact Assistance Fund. I'm just, in reading this, in my background in oil and gas, is they're concerned about, you know, whether or not, and maybe this is just a general paragraph in here.
It is, it's general language.
Okay, because I definitely know we don't have any mineral and oil and gas.
Yeah,
Issues in this area.
that's
Up in the
correct.
northwest corner of Albert County, yes, but it's dry as a bone out here.
Yeah, that's general language. We can talk about that at another time, but, that's utilized on town side too. Specifically with the Energy Impact Assistance Fund,
Mhm.
when you're requesting funding from them.
Oh, okay, okay. I just happened to see that and I want to make a comment.
Excellent. We have nothing else. John, I'll let you.
Correction to your previous discussion. You have contact information for the McClarys at North Kiowa Bijou Groundwater Management District. Your call is not to Chris Grimes, who's the state engineer. Your call is to the president of the board of directors at Kiowa Bijou Groundwater Management District. And Sasha, you're representing the board, so you want to present all those issues to the president of the Kiowa Bijou Groundwater Management District Board of Directors, the president. And he presents that information to his board. They take a vote. Their vote is either to deny your request, all those issues, or to approve. Now you want the president presenting it to the board. So the president can say to the board, we've consulted with the town of Kiowa. They've taken care of all the issues that we raised. All those things are done and taken care of. And I'm presenting this to the board for your vote. And then they vote and they'll approve it. This does not go through the state. It goes through Kiowa Bijou Groundwater Management District. I think it's in Fort Morgan or Brush. But the two McClarys are the attorneys, but you want to be talking to the president of the board of directors who's going to present all of these issues to the board for a vote.
You know, Laura worked there for about 30 years.
Where?
No.
No, thank you,
No.
John, for the clarification.
If you knew these people, you would have said it.
Yeah,
You didn't say it.
no,
So I'm telling you, I used to cover their meetings and this is how it's done. If your determination for water right is incorrect, or if any of these other applications are incorrect, the president of the board will say, you have to do these things. First, you bring it to the board, you do those things. Then the president says, town of Kiowa was taking care of all of this. Here's the presentation for the vote. They take a vote, they approve it, and it's done.
Okay,
great. Thank you, John.
It's not Chris Grimes.
Okay.
okay, I put a star. Okay, actually, I put 4 stars.
Thank you. Excellent. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
I'll second.
motion been made and seconded to adjourn at 6:25. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 6:25. Thank everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the work.